I don't know if you saw, but the guy Charlie Kirk, he was the Super Bowl happened, and there was kind of a big thing on the internet with him being like, "Oh, this is too sexual," and you see this with a lot of
you know him, the Turning Point figures. USA guy.
Yes,
yeah,
saying that it was this shouldn't even be on TV. It's kind of like the Elvis
what
conversation.
Bit was sexual?
I guess
just the halftime show was. I don't know the exact quote, but essentially he's like, "This is like sexual depravity of the halftime show," which is funny because that was one of the
old school conservative shit. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is
but you're right, it wasn't very.
It was one of the least sexy things, and
no
it's funny
nipple slip.
No, there was some background dancers, but they're pretty cautious nowadays.
Yeah.
The NFL has such an image problem that they're very, very cautious about that stuff. So, but he kind of was exposing the old school conservative guys who got cool for a bit, being like free speech.
They're better when they're pwn and libs.
Exactly, pwn and libs, free speech, all this stuff. And then he kind of regressed back to his old school, like, this sexuality is disgusting. And everybody's like, everybody was like, what are you talking about?
It feels like there's so many people that are pretty good at diagnosing what's going on wrong somewhere, but most people don't have an alternative that's good.
Well, that's what you get with everybody on the right? It's reactionary. Like and this is the way it works. The left puts forward an idea, the right says that's rubbish, we don't want to do it. The left puts forward an idea, the right says that's rubbish, we don't want to do it. That's the dynamic. But what you end up with is the right never puts any ideas forward.
Well, they would put some ideas forward. Well, that would be like Christianity and stuff like that. Like religion would be the right side.
But that's the original. That's the original idea. Like that was the original serve of the tennis match. That was the first serve was religion, and now they're just kind of
Well, they don't have new ideas because they still think that their old ones are good.
Yeah. Well, but that being said, man, like one of the problems you have if you're a right-leaning person that wants it to be good, you think, well, you need to fucking propose something. Think about,
and that's what they're doing. I think a lot of them, a lot of those people have that conversation where they're like, well, what should we propose? And they're saying, well, no
Christian
porn.
values.
Yeah,
right, okay.
They're essentially saying like, yeah, we already did this. Here's the list.
Back to the 1800s.
Here's the book. Yeah, we have the book, and this is a better way to live your life.
No
and
Dr. Dre.
Yeah, and you know what? For some people, it's true. For some people, they might be better off with a super set of values, but for some people, they won't. Right? So I
thought that halftime show was
the best one I've seen. I always tune that shit out. Like the halftime show comes on, and I'll go do anything else. And then I had no idea what the lineup was, and then I saw it started with Dr. Dre, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. And that was
Well, think about last year, because last year was the weekend, right? And he was walking through the maze, and everyone memed the shit out of it.
Yeah, and that was an okay one. But you know what? It was really so much for the Super Bowl this year. I don't know how it became so concerted, because it was with the halftime show and like the advertising, but all this like early 2000s nostalgia.
Yep.
Like there was a commercial with Meadow, Soprano, and AJ in it with the Sopranos theme song. And there was just all these people who were relevant 15 years ago. Like, or not relevant, because I'm not saying the musicians aren't, but they kind of just all brought them back for like commercials and everything. Just
Culture can't do new shit, man. No. They can't do new shit. But
also this was the best kind of one was the...
Did you see that someone put this fucking tweet out that went like super duper viral, and it said, I realized Eminem and Dr. Dre and Mary J. Blige and whatever came out on stage, and I thought, oh, awesome, really glad they've done something for us young people, not like those oldies that they used to do them for. And 10 minutes later I realized this, like, these people are 20 years old in culture.
That's my favorite thing, is the rap guys getting old and becoming the kids these days, guys. Back in my day, they rapped about guns and drugs. Not like these new kids rapping about fucking mumble rapping.
Do you see the mayor of so there's this thing called
Funky Town?
No, the mayor of New
50
York.
Cent, yeah.
There's this thing called drill rap.
What
is it?
So it's basically, it seems like gangster rap. They just rap about, it's like Tekashi kind of. No, they all have guns, and they're like, the videos are, shot in the Bronx and stuff, and New York, and they talk about killing people and doing all this stuff. And the mayor of New York straight up came out, the new mayor, and he's like, we need to ban this. Like, he's trying to ban
this rap.
He's trying to ban rap music in New York City, which is essentially where it invented.
Yeah, good luck.
And you're like, but what are you even proposing? YouTube bans rap videos? Like, that's essentially what he was saying.
Because the scene is...
Well, because people are there is like gang-related violence that kind of, they trace it back to this, they're part of these, whatever. And you're like, yeah, it's rap music.
Yeah. Fuck. There's no shortage of rappers going to jail.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what he's even thinking.
What do you think about Eminem with a beard?
I don't like the beard. The beard's stupid. The beard's weird.
I don't feel like.
Yeah, it looks weird, but maybe he's. I don't know. I imagine he would look identical. Like he doesn't seem to have aged very much, so I feel like he would kind of look.
Yeah, those guys are definitely. 50 Cent was the coolest one out of all of them because 50 Cent was actually funny and he sort of kept up and he was still funny. Like if you follow him on Instagram right now, he still is. But he had some interesting, funny controversies. Like remember when he was filming people at the airport and then he was like, "Look at this idiot" or whatever. It turned out to be like a retarded guy.
Oh yeah, that was insane. Yeah.
Do you remember when he made a bet with Floyd Mayweather that he couldn't read the first page of Cat in the Hat?
Yeah. He's a funny troll. And then he went bankrupt, and then he was saying he had.
Didn't he sell vitamin? That was his.
Yeah. Well, he was kind of maybe bankrupt or something on like paper, but they knew he was hiding money. Yeah, they like knew he was hiding all this money and stuff, and then apparently someone had given him or like he bought Bitcoin when it was like really low.
Yeah.
And then he somehow came out that he had all this Bitcoin, and then he was saying he was broke, but then he was taking photos of him with, like rappers do with like stacks and stacks of cash.
But that's weird, right? Because as a rapper, you can be bankrupt, but also part of your image is being the guy that's around stacks of cash. So it's like, I'm bankrupt except for the posing money.
Absolutely.
I have a minimum level of $3 million kept in $1 bills.
That we brought in.
Yeah, that's my zero.
Yeah.
Anything on top of that. Yeah.
But I think as a true like wealthy person, what was actually happening is he wasn't bankrupt. He was just hiding his money and stuff. He was like, "Oh, I'm bankrupt. I can't pay my."
Who do you reckon's the richest guy on the Super Bowl lineup? It's got to be Dre, surely, with Dre. Beats by Dre.
Beats 100% Dre.
No question.
That made him. Yeah.
Fellas, thank you for watching that exclusive Boyscast clip and supporting the channel. If you want to support the podcast, we have a new episode every week at patreon.com/theboyscast. Only $5, and there's a tons of episodes up there right now. So support the cast, support the boys.
Link right there.
Peace.